of an elderly villager, Appara, in conversation with Abhinay, who is a city boy who has come to the village in search of his roots. Abhinay has put up his mother's picture up on the wall with a sandalwood garland around it. He is taking out some of his mother's photographs from the chest. He shuts the chest and places the framed pictures on the chest one by one. Abhinay switches off the lights and lies down. He tosses a bit. It is dark. He opens the window and lies down with his eyes wide open. The moon appears from behind the cloud. The water body now reflects the palm tree. The moonlight lights up his mother's garlanded photographs. In one of the photographs, his mother holds a Carnatic violin. Abhinay looks at it. He gets up and goes into the other room and has a conversation with his father. Cut to early morning, sitting near the riverside, Appara is in conversation with Abhinay. Abhinay, what are you thinking, huh? I heard the noise from your house last night. What were you arguing with your father about? Oh, where is Amma's violin? But why did you wake him in the middle to ask him that? What did he say? He doesn't know. Expected he will answer like that only. He would have said, God only knows. Why remember all the things that he gave away and to whom? Right. Only one person knows and she won't tell you. Who is the person? Annapurna. Ha 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 ha. I know what you are thinking. Such a small village and you don't know where a violin went. The whole village will know what you ate for dinner, but they don't know where mother's violin is. Correct. Everybody knows. But we forget. We forget all that we want to forget. Why remember all the things that bring you pain? Correct, na? Oh, are you feeling unwell, my mother? I am talking to your grandson only, not any stranger from the city. Do you know where the Carnatic violin came from? France. Many centuries ago, the French people presented their violin to the great King Tipu Sultan. Very proud people. The king then returned it to his musician because he was very unhappy with the sound. What is this sound? He said, make it sound better. His musician then returned it to the friends and showed them how to use it properly. That is how the Carnatic violin was born. Oh, the sun has come up. Annapurna, Annapurna. She is not feeling well today. I better wander away. Ah, let me leave before the sun comes overhead. And you stop worrying and thinking so much. Here, your aunt has sent some delicious village food. Do grab a bite. It will bring back some fond memories of your mother. Okay? Annapurna, let's read. Oh, oh, oh. I shall now narrate the prose. An extract from My Family and Other Animals by Gerald Durrell. Is that the bloody boy again? Milord Larry. Look out, they're coming, screamed Margot. All we need is a book, roared Leslie. Don't panic, hit them with the book. What on earth is the matter with you all? Mother kept imploring, mopping her glasses. Is that a bloody boy? He'll kill the lot of us. Look at the table, kneaded with scorpions. Quick, do something. Look out. Stop screeching and get me a book for God's sake. You're worse than the dog. Shut up, Roger. By the grace of God, I wasn't bitten. Look out! There's another one! Quick! Shut up and get me a book or something. But how did the scorpions get on the table, dear? That bloody boy. Every matchbox in the house is of that strength. Look out! There's another one. It's coming towards me. Quick, do something. It's coming towards me. Hit it with your knife. Your knife. Go on, hit it. As Lugarazia was the only stranger in the room, Roger came to a logical conclusion that she must be the responsible party. So, he bit her in the ankle. This did not help matters very much. By the time a certain amount of order had been restored, all the baby scorpions had hidden themselves under various plates and bits of cutlery. Eventually, after impatient pleas on my part, backed up by mother, Leslie's suggestion that the whole lot be slaughtered was quashed. While the family, still simmering with rage and fright, retired to the drawing room, I spent half an hour rounding up the babies, picking them up with a teaspoon and returning them to their mother's bed. Then I carried them outside on a saucer and with utmost reluctance released them on the garden wall. Roger and I went and spent the afternoon on the hillside, for I felt it would be prudent to allow the family to have a siesta before seeing them again. recite the poem The Cow by Roald Dahl. Please listen while I tell you now about the most fantastic cow. Miss Milky Daisy was her name, and when aged 7 months, she came to live with us. She did her best to look the same as the all of the rest. But Daisy, as we could all see, had some kind of deformity. A funny sort of lumpy bump on either side above the rump. Now, not so very long ago, these bumpy lumps began to grow. And 3 or maybe 4 months later, I stood there an enthralled spectator. These bumpy lumps burst wide apart, and out they came. I crossed my heart. Of all the wondrous, marvelous things, a pair of gold and silver wings. A cow with wings? A flying cow! I have never seen one up till now. Oh, Daisy dear, can this be true? She flapped her wings and up she flew. Most gracefully she climbed up high. She fairly whisked across the sky. You should have seen her dive and swoop. She even did a loop-the-loop. Of course, almost immediately, her picture was on live TV. And millions came each day to stare at Milky Daisy in the air. They shouted, "Jeepers, creepers! Wow, it really is a flying cow!" They laughed and cheered and clapped and waved. And all of them were well behaved, except for one quite horrid man who had travelled from Afghanistan. This fellow, standing in the crowd, raised up his voice and yelled aloud, "That silly cow! Hey, listen, Daisy, I think you're absolutely crazy." Unfortunately, Daisy heard quite clearly every single word. "By gosh!" she cried. "What awful cheek! Who is this silly foreign freak?" She dived and, using all her power, she got to 60 miles an hour. "Boom's gone!" she cried. "Take that!" she said, and dropped a cow pet on his head. I shall now read and analyze the unseen text taken from the Trinity website from 7th April to 20th April to realize it. The Virgin and the Gypsy by D.H. Lawrence. Then the priest handed his daughter a financial statement with himself, her debt to him, interest owed, the amount deducted from a small allowance. But to her credit, he had placed an extra pound, which was the fee he had to pay for his complicity. "As the father of the culprit," he said humorously, "I am fined £1, and with that I absolve myself." He was always generous about money, but somehow he seemed to think that by being free about money, he could absolutely call himself a generous man. Whereas he used money, even generosity, as a holdover form. But he let the affair drop entirely. He was, by this time, more amused than anything. To judge from appearances, he thought. Still, he was safe. Aunt Sissy, however, could not get over her seizure. rather early, miserably to bed, when Lucille was away at a party and she was lying with soft, weak limbs, aching with a sort of numbness, the door softly opened, and there stood Aunt Sissy, pushing a grey-green face through the opening of the door. You had started up in terror. Liar, thief, selfish little beast, hissed the maniacal face of Aunt Sissy. You little hypocrite, you liar, you selfish beast, you greedy little beast. There was such extraordinary impersonal hatred in that grey-green mask and those frantic words that you had opened her mouth to scream with hysterics. But Aunt Sissy shut the door as suddenly as she had opened it and disappeared. Yvette leaped from her bed and turned the key. Then she crept back, half demented with fear, half numbed with paralysis of damaged pride. And amid it all, up came a bubble of distracted laughter. It was so filthily ridiculous. Aunt Sissy's behavior did not hurt the girl so very much. It was, after all, somewhat fantastic. Yet, hurt she was, in her limbs, in her body, in her gender. Hurt, hurt, numbed, and half destroyed, with only her nerves vibrating and gentle. And still so young, she could not understand what was happening. Only she lay and wished she were a gypsy. To live in a camp, in a caravan, and never set foot in a house, not know the existence of a parish, never look at a church. The analysis. So this is a narrative piece of writing, I believe, because there is obviously dialogues which gives it the basic structure of a narrative piece, and there are also a few instances of descriptive writing, as we can see, because suppose in the sentence there was such extraordinary impersonal hatred in that grey-green mask that paints such a vivid picture, such an obvious imagery of Aunt Sissy's face when she is having a seizure. You can imagine her face in front of you, especially when it is read out for live audience. If you put the accurate pauses and you scream loud enough, the liar, thief, selfish little beast. So the audience will be able to see Aunt Sissy in you while you are narrating the piece. And I feel the title of this piece is also quite accurate because at least from this extract you can figure that out, the Virgin and the Gypsy. So I assume the story to be something that the main character here is Yvette. Her father is a priest and he is getting her married to someone forcefully because she seems to be in love with a gypsy and therefore wants to become one. But that would be looked down upon by the society, so that's what his father did not want at all. So the Yvette, the little girl Yvette, is supposed to be as pure, as holy as a virgin. But she is in love with a gypsy and wants to become one. So, however, being the daughter of a priest, so it is quite impossible. And I feel this piece is written in the third person and it is narrated by an ominous narrator, as we can see from and it also has a lot of scope for characterization and voice modulation. Like in the sentence where the priest is speaking, there is only a male in the whole piece. So it has to be talked in a very different manner with a low pitch, masculine way of talking. And also I believe in the where there is the climax of the piece, that is liar, thief, when Aunt Sissy is screaming. So you have to take the highest pitch possible. And yeah, that's pretty much it for characterization. I feel this piece is very interesting and it would be fun to bring to life because there is so much scope for acting in this piece. also a perfect tapering end to this piece. I shall now answer the reflective questions. Talk about how you chose your pieces for today's performance and how you balance the contrast in mood and style. It is important to use different moods and styles in your pieces to show the skills of a grade 8 student, because once you're on the stage you don't want to be acting as a character, and either you want to be the character. So in class we were given an option to choose our own theme, and we also did a lot of activities, which is how I came to a conclusion to select my theme as animals. And that's why all my pieces are according to the mood, style and theme. Question 2. What have you learned about your own strengths and limitations during your presentation for today's performance? Some of my strengths are my acting skills, confidence level, speaking correct English, while on the other hand, I have a weakness of not memorizing stuff quickly. But I put all my positivity into the memorizing phase because I wanted to do it. So I did it. Grade 8 is the most important and critical certificate a speech and drama student can have. My mentor always told me that I was really good at acting but not that great at memorizing. So I needed to give more part to that time to learn all my pieces. So with the help of my classmates and my mentors, I improvised and improved for today's performance. Question 3. Have you developed your physical and vocal skills during your presentation for today's performance? During my presentation for today's performance, I have developed my physical skills by being more confident, loosening up my body, giving more time to learning my pieces, and also focusing on my facial expressions. Coming to the vocal skills, I made sure that I clarified my diction. I also articulated my speech and kept in mind the pause, pace and pitch. I had to use my voice and body thoroughly throughout the performance. So I developed my physical and vocal skills to give a technically correct performance. Question 4. How did you prepare yourself physically and emotionally for your performance program today? Where preparation in physical terms is concerned, one needs to build the stamina and spontaneity by sheer practice. And I also did regular breathing exercises and kept myself well hydrated so that I could perform my optimum best. And where preparation in terms of emotional or mental is concerned, I made sure that I detach myself from who I am and get completely into the skin of my character. So I learned the nuances of the old villager, how he walked, how he talked, and in all my other pieces, I showed the true emotion of love and empathy that I have towards animals. So combining both of this could roll out a stellar performance. With this, I end my Trinity Grade 8 Speech and Drama examination. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did preparing and presenting it. Thank you.